it's funny when you are having a conversation with someone and you're just talking, like sometimes you're just not even thinking about what you're saying, and you just get into the motion of the conversation, and who knows what comes out. So
goodness.
Anyway, we are recording now.
Lucky it's not over on a Friday night or something.
Yeah. So this is my beautiful friend Ebony, and Ebony and I were just discussing actually what it means to be imperfectly perfect. So being a real strong woman, but in a really scrappy way, which makes it sound really, I suppose, scrappy and trashy, but yeah, I suppose what I love about Ebs is just that she is someone that I really look up to in terms of strength. Your strength at the gym just freaking blows me away.
Oh, wow. Not about that.
That kettlebell of yours. But at the same time, like, we can just have real conversations, and you're a real raw person. And I love that. So I would love it if you could tell us a little bit about yourself and how it is you actually got into teaching.
Okay, that's quite interesting. How I got into teaching, not really. So I grew up in the country, like country Victoria, just normal country girl, nothing too exciting. Went to school. I can't say I was the most studious person, but I was, I still cared about my results and doing reasonably well. When I actually went through school, I actually really wanted to study law. My whole dream was to move from the country and live in Melbourne. And I couldn't see past that. That was the only thing I wanted to do, was move to Melbourne and study law. Unfortunately, during Year 12, that did not go to plan, but only just slightly. I also finished school at 17. So,
okay.
Yeah, so I was a 17-year-old, finished Year 12, didn't exactly get the marks that I wanted to, but only just slightly. And then I didn't really know what I was doing. So off I took myself out to get a job in my little town of Horsham. I went for one job interview, I got that job, and I stayed and worked for a year. And it was during that year I just suddenly one night was like, I'm going to be a teacher. Logged on, changed my uni preferences, got accepted on an early offer, and off I went to be a teacher. That was it.
Wow. So go on.
But in saying that, not really thinking about being a teacher, like it was literally a 10-minute decision. I just think I was born to be a teacher, like, which
That's
is
amazing.
Weird. I love it now, just absolutely love it, and I couldn't imagine doing anything else.
Wow, that is like, so there was nothing even that day that kind of sparked that kind of...
Nothing older. I did have really good teachers, I believe, especially later on in my schooling, and some that were probably more, closer friendships than normal teachers as well. Like I remember in Year 12 going around to teachers' house for extra tutoring and things like that. One teacher after our Year 12 exam had us all over for a drink, like just stuff like that. But like, to me, it wasn't really, it wasn't overstepping the mark as a teacher. They were just genuine people, and I think that's something that I saw in like, teachers are also genuine people. Yeah, so that was just something I did become interested in. But yeah, look, it was a really whim decision. I thought about it for 10 minutes.
That's amazing. And I kind of like that, actually, because sometimes I think us women especially have like an overthinking problem too. And if we leave it to fester too long, we just don't even do it. And then
absolutely. And sometimes we're too set on our ideas as well. Like, I really was like, I didn't have any form of backup plan. It was, I'm going to Melbourne. I wanted to go to Monash. I had visited where I wanted to live. It was totally that. And my parents had said to me, like, you're 17. We're not just placing you in Melbourne and footing a bill.
Wow.
Something that, it could be quite difficult. Like, we're just not going to allow you to do it with, you know, I had to earn my own way a little bit as well. My parents are quite hardworking, and they really did instill that in us, that, yeah, my brothers and I, that we would just not be handed something. We had to work for it ourselves.
Totally.
And I think that really, yeah, met that, like, I definitely grew up with that. And yeah, that's the
we
decision
were
I
the
went.
same. I actually paid for half of my dance course when I finished high school because I wanted to dance full time, and my mum and dad were like, well, if you're that serious, you can pay for half of it. And
Yeah.
I think that was one of the best things they could have ever done for me, to be honest, because I think just understanding the work ethic behind having things is so important. I think gosh, I just turned 40, so I feel like when I say this, it makes me really old, but
No,
but like I feel like some of the younger generation have kind of been told that they can be whatever they want to be and be whoever they want to be, but haven't necessarily always been told you've got to work hard for it. And
Oh,
so,
absolutely. I totally agree with you. I think there's a lot on, you know, follow your dreams, but they don't just happen. They actually come at really hard work. They really do. And
sure.
Yeah, my parents had always instilled that into me. Like, they had money, but it was their money. They had worked for it. It wasn't given to us. We had to go out and earn it ourselves. If we wanted a car, we had to buy it. Yeah, if we wanted these things, we had to obtain them ourselves through sheer work. And also my parents, I had 3 brothers, so there was 4 of us.
Yeah.
So mum and dad had always said, well, what we do for one, we have to do for all 4.
Yeah.
There's a limit. There
of course.
limit as well. So,
yeah, for sure. No, my parents were exactly the same. And I'm so grateful for it now. And I have to keep telling myself that with Kobe now as well. When he wants something and I don't give it to him, I have to keep reminding myself, you know, this was good for you, it'll be good for him.
Yeah, I agree too. Having, with honor. And it's very hard to explain to a 3-year-old. Like, she often says something like, my house. I said, that's actually not your house. Like, it's mum and dad's. Like, you don't have a house. We let you live here. And she keeps saying, like, I'll buy it with my money. She wanted something. So I said, you actually don't have money. And she's like, but my money box. I said, yeah, that's actually ours. We gave you that to put in your money box. Like, you actually don't have anything.
It's so funny, but so true. They really do just think everything belongs to them. And
so no, I do think that's really important to...
Oh yeah, that's really cute. So then when you became a teacher, obviously then you became a mum after becoming a teacher. Being a teacher didn't turn you off having children then?
No, I don't think it turns you off having children. I think you have a very good idea of a parent you'd like to be.
Right.
And probably not so much of things that you would do, things that you definitely wouldn't do. I think that's probably the hardest part. Definitely the hardest part is naming your child.
Yeah, because you'd be so affiliated with all the different names of kids that had pissed you off.
Yeah, exactly. So no, it didn't really. No, I think it just changes the way that you will upbring your child and what you will place importance of in your own life for your child as well. That's.
Yeah. So how has, I suppose going pre-COVID-19, so pre all of this stuff, let's just refer to it as stuff, how was it juggling having honor and being married and working as a teacher as well?
Look, it is good. Some parts are really good. Obviously, teaching is child-friendly hours, school holidays. But I think it also comes as a price in the, you and I were just talking about the daily grind. And that's one thing I'm not so much looking forward to going back to the physical workplace is, I think, you've got a million things on your mind, even when you are at work. I've got to get home, I've got to cook dinner, we've got this on the weekend, I've got to pick up a birthday present, I've got to do this. So I think, as a mother, a full-time working mother, it just never stops. I just don't think it ever stops.
No. I don't, it's like you think you have a weekend and you get excited for the weekend and it comes and then you realize you don't really have a weekend.
I
And then
know.
before you know it, and then you get maybe an hour on Sunday and think, oh yes, my weekend, but then before you know it, it's gone and it's like Monday
Exactly.
again.
I was actually thinking about that the other day. I was like, do you ever stop preparing for the next thing? Like, do you know what I mean? Like you do the washing and then like it's just like you prepare for the very next thing. Like, do you ever just have nothing to do? Like,
That is so
are you ever
true.
just completely prepared,
Yeah.
like for your life to live, or am I always doing something to, I don't know.
It's so true. Are we actually ever stopping? Which I think I have come to do more of, obviously, during this time, which has been amazing. And I think we're really starting to ask ourselves these questions a lot more, especially as working mums. Like, something's got to give, because now that we've experienced life this way, going back completely back to the way it was just doesn't seem like an option for us.
Yeah, I
So
think, yeah, I've definitely realized what's important and what I'm willing to negotiate on in my time, and what I'm not now willing to negotiate on at all. And even some tricks just to do things faster as well. Like, you and I were talking about cooking. Well, it's fine to slap some things in the slow cooker and dish that up too. And
yeah,
whatever it takes, really, just whatever it takes to
yeah, for
get the
sure.
balance a little bit better for yourself as well.
Yeah. And I suppose not being so hard on ourselves for not doing it perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Um, I've even been finding that, I'm probably leaving the house messier than what I usually do, because I'm a clean freak. So at like the first couple of weeks, I was just cleaning all the time. And I was like, I can't spend months in isolation cleaning just because I'm here and I can and I'm looking at everything. So even just being so much more accepting of my life the way it is, which is
Yeah,
just, you know,
yeah, couldn't agree more there. Couldn't agree more. Um,
yeah.
yeah, look, I've been having my lunch break at home, and what can I quickly get done in my lunch break so I
Yeah.
don't have to do it later? Like, what can I quickly clean? And then I thought, this is ridiculous. Like, that's not what a lunch break's about. Like,
Yeah.
let's make use of the time, go for a walk and things like that.
Yeah. How's Honor been doing in self-isolation? Because you've got a little girl.
Yeah,
How old's Honor now?
she's
3?
3, so she had her birthday in isolation, so that was a little bit hard for her, a little bit
Oh, it
difficult.
was?
Yeah, just, well, she had a mum and dad to celebrate, and that was it. She just really wanted everyone around to have a cake and sing happy birthday. But she
I
got
suppose
over it. She's
because, yeah, at that
actually,
age, you kind of start to really understand
yeah,
birthday
and
parties a bit more, don't you?
she does completely understand. She does completely understand isolation. Mostly to her because the parks are closed. And she nearly asks me every day, is the virus gone yet? But I have to say, no, it's not quite gone yet. And she's noticed too, like, more and more people have come out, and we've obviously moved on to that, first stage of opening things up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's desperate for the parks to open. Look, she's pretty good. We're really lucky that daycare has still operated as well. I just honestly could not do that. I could not teach from home and have her home. We had a few trial days and they didn't go so well. So
Yeah, I bet.
that's okay. We are very lucky that we have that option to still be able to send her. I think she's really thrived in that environment because it has been smaller as well. She's really appreciated. She does miss her friends, those that aren't there, a lot. But yeah, look, I think, kids are really adaptable, and that is something that I don't think as adults we let them be as much. We kind of think that I don't know, I think we kind of instill adult feelings and understandings on them a lot when
Yeah.
they're actually really, really adaptable.
Yeah.
They just need black and white answers to things. And Honor's very much like that. She needs to know why. She asks questions, where did the virus come from? I just tell her very factually, and she's okay with that.
Yep.
She's
Yep.
completely okay.
Yeah. Agreed. I think we just don't give them enough credit sometimes, and I think actually being a kid over this period of time is actually could be a really cool thing, because you're learning a completely new way of life at a stage where you can adapt a lot easier,
Yeah,
obviously.
I agree. I've actually got some students in my class who we've now spoken about going back to school. And lots of them are like, actually, I don't really want to go back. This is pretty cool. Like,
Yeah.
this is actually pretty cool how we work like this. And I'm okay with it. And yeah, it'll be great to see our friends, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Like,
Yeah.
life to be able to do this. Like,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
like it. So I think,
Yeah.
yeah, look, some of the positives that we've found out of this, like, it'd be great to be able to have a bit more of a, I don't know, a compromise with life.
Yes, definitely. I love that. A compromise. Yeah, for sure. And I think, I mean, look, if we were talking also a bit about just, having that support around us as well to be able to do that, because obviously it's such a new concept for so many people in the world, like organizations, environments, people in general. Like, it's just the whole concept of doing things this way is so new for so many. Um, yeah, I suppose it's just going to take a little bit of trial and error to kind of find that new normal for us, and
Yeah.
hope that we can compromise to some degree.
Oh, wouldn't it be great?
I know.
Yeah, if only.
I know.
Yeah, I do hope. My fear is that, the final restrictions are announced and off we go, and it's forgotten.
Yeah, I
I mean, I
know.
don't believe it will be forgotten, but I feel like maybe in the excitement we just do forget. I wonder if we will forget, and
Yeah. And just
it's
start taking
years.
things for granted again.
Yeah, I just wonder if, yeah, that actual. I know we won't forget the period of time, but I wonder if we'll forget how we felt in the period of time.
Yeah. What have you thought has been probably your biggest challenge being a teacher, teaching
Oh, oh,
home?
just the student engagement, and just, you're not actually there to sit with them and help them, and
Yeah, right.
I think they have been thrown in the deep end in terms of their own level of organisation. Um, if they just don't have quite that understanding, obviously any social interaction as well. I've been quite lucky. I Zoom with my students a lot through the day.
Yeah.
So that is still there in some aspect, but just some of them that are really struggling with concepts, it's really difficult, I think, to teach this way.
Yeah.
But one thing I've sort of learned is as well, and I've tried to instill in my own students, is it's not always about knowing, but in the world, it's about knowing how to find the answers. And,
Yes. Oh, I love that.
yeah, we're still, you've still got every opportunity. Like, we're so lucky now with the internet. They can just,
Totally. That is so, so true. And I so love that. I'm really finding, especially since I've started kind of this little business, that we're just living in a world now where, I need to build a funnel. How do I do that? Google. And I can work it out. Like, I've never kind of up until now realized just how much I can actually do for myself and how much I can actually work out for myself without the knowledge and the whole, university certificate and having that education. Like, it's actually, and I feel like that's where the world's going, in that, it's going to be more important for kids to kind of know how to look for the information rather than actually just knowing it.
without a doubt, yeah. And how to use the information, like what's important, what's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also a bit of trial and error as well. Like, they say you learn more from failure than success.
Yeah.
We're
Oh,
not,
for sure.
but we're not willing to fail.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. I was listening to something. I think it was a podcast a while ago, and the girl that they were interviewing, I think it was Christy B. Wright. She's a speaker in America. I'm pretty sure it was her. She was talking about how her dad, at the dinner table every day, would ask her and her siblings, so what did you do that you failed at today? And they all had to talk
great.
about what their failures were. And he was like, right, great. What did you learn from that? And that was their conversation. It wasn't about what did you do and, what did you achieve? It was actually focusing on the failures, so that failure became the new norm for them. And so she's found that, like, her and her siblings have just never been fearful of failing, because it's just been really acceptable for them to fail.
Yeah.
And it's actually been seen as really important for them to fail in order to be able to move forward.
That's so great. And I'd love to do that too. I might instill those conversations in our household too, because you're right. Like, I don't know, in society, it's viewed poorly to fail. Like,
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
such a negative. You fail at a business, like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
so negative. You fail at, I don't know, your fitness and not being able to do something, or if you lose, a
Yeah.
match and things like that. Like
Yep.
that's, yeah, it's viewed so negative. We only celebrate the winners, yet,
I know.
you know,
It's really it's amazing too when you start to look at the people like Walt Disney and like Abraham Lincoln and all these like
oh
amazing successful people that actually had like ridiculous amounts of failures before they even got anywhere. And yeah, it just puts it a bit into perspective. I think people look at successful people and think, oh well, they must have just been born that way, but there's just so much failure behind that success.
yeah, and you're right. And something else we were talking about, and sheer hard work, like sheer hard
Yes.
work to get there. It does not,
Yep.
you're not waking up in bed one day and you're suddenly famous because you've done these awesome things. It is sheer hard work to
Yep.
get there, and
Yep.
you really do have to input the time and effort.
Yep. That's right. And the resilience and yeah. So have you, I suppose because you're both a mum and a teacher, um, what have you been really, I suppose, focusing on with the kids? Like, I suppose you touched on a little bit just before in terms of really showing them or, teaching them more about knowing where to find the information rather than knowing the information and understanding it.
Yeah,
Have you found that you've had to kind of, I suppose, really help the parents as well? Or has it
yeah,
been
look, we've been really lucky, and probably the age group I teach as well. Like parents are not expected to do anything. The kids do everything themselves. They don't have
yeah,
any parent. Um, I'm not going to say parent support because obviously they have parent support, but their parents are not sitting there taking them through their work. We present their work to them every morning. They have instructions written down. They have lesson plans to go through as well. We're available to them as well. They zoom in and zoom out. So look, in terms of that aspect, that's been probably quite easy for our students to have their teacher readily available. But in saying that, they still need to be independent. They still need to get through the workload. Look, we've set just real traditional lessons of maths and English, inquiry focus. Our students still do all their specialist classes
yeah,
as well. So they'll have, one day PE, one day, language, one day art. Look, we have really tried to still deliver what we would in the classroom. One thing it's been such an interesting time being a teacher and then going on social media and obviously having so many friends as mums and their take on it. And one thing I saw is lots of those posts like, oh, it doesn't matter if, this term we have off and it's, they don't do so much. Kids, I don't know if you've seen those posts, it doesn't, sort of the term doesn't matter because, it's one term out of their whole schooling.
yeah, right.
Oh, those, like, I have to scroll past them really quickly because, like, I think the biggest thing with this, and I know parents are really struggling as well, but I guess it's our view on it. Like, education, it does matter. It really
Yeah,
does matter. And
yep,
it is really important that students do work during this time in whatever form that
yep,
looks like, because
yep,
education, it is one of the difference between, social classes and and
yep,
people doing well in their life. It
yep,
really is that important. And
yep,
look, it's not so much important to sit there and doing pages and pages of writing because again, you've got to question that outcome. But really, it is really important they don't stop learning and they do keep on top of their education, but whatever form that looks like.
exactly.
Whether that is having to Google things and then find out the answers. I just, yeah,
Yeah,
I just,
I agree. I was actually talking about this with a friend the other day as well, just more so the fact that I've really seen like very contrasting opinions about it. Like there are people that have said to me, oh no, my kid just takes sick leave and if we just don't feel like it, we don't do it. And then I've got other friends that are just like spending like ridiculous amounts of hours,
yeah,
working. And I suppose, look, at the end of the day, you do you, whatever works for you. But I suppose me personally, I've just been like, well, I don't want him to think that he can just get away with doing nothing in times of crisis, because I think the biggest thing we can teach ourselves when it comes to resilience is even in really challenging, shitty times, you've got to keep going. Like, you've got to
Yeah,
show up and you've got to keep going. And it may not be what it is normally. And it may mean that the way you show up is very different. But if you don't show up in a time of crisis, then, you know, you're going to spend half your life like just thinking you can get away with doing nothing. Because we're always going to have challenges in life, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I just think the biggest thing is placing that value and importance on it too. If you know, if it is left up to the parents to sit with their child to do the work, well then, yeah, I agree. Make it work for yourselves. If you've got to have a break, you've got to have a break. If you,
for sure,
you know, you don't want to get it through that day, that's fine too. But I do think it's up to the parents to put some sort of value on that. And in, you know, the child's going to pick up the attitude that the parent has instantly, and whatever is valued in that household. So if the education's not valued and, you know, homeschooling bit thrown out the window, well, that's ultimately what the child.
And you have to be persistent as a parent. Like, I think that was probably one of the hardest things for me, was being a persistent and consistent parent. Like, but we just, for those first couple of weeks, we did not struggle with Kobe, but it was just having to reinforce to him, no, you don't do that until you finish that. Like, you have to just keep going until you finish. Once you finish your schoolwork, then you can.
Exactly.
And, you know, the first 2 weeks, I did think, oh my gosh, how are Ben and I going to keep doing this with him and working at the same time? But if you're doing it consistently, after that, these last few weeks, it's been brilliant. Like, he knows that, you know, I'm not doing anything until my work's handed in. So
I think at the start, I think that was everyone. And do you know what? I think as teachers, that was a little bit us too. It was kind of that, not the thrill, but I guess we were all up like, oh, we're in lockdown. Oh, now we're working from here. Oh, this is going to be great. Working from home. I'm not going to do too much. But as you start to get into it, you're like, actually, this is really hard. And as a teacher, I must say, it's been so much more work and so much, you know, more of my time. And I've had to learn so many different things as well. And I think the students thought that too. They're like, oh, like, I'm at home. It's just an extension of the holidays. But once the first week we got through, once the second week came, actually, no, every day is just like a school day, except I just do it at home.
Yep. That's it.
That's what it is. And I think it's really important, like, parents, like you said, like, have non-negotiables. Like, this is just non-negotiable. This is what you do.
Yeah.
That's that.
And just be consistent. I mean, and I know that that's really can be really hard as a parent, especially single parents. I totally get it. But I think
without a doubt.
Yeah, but I just think, you know, just really try to be as consistent as you can and just stick with that same message. I think eventually, the penny drops and they realize.
It does. And look, you know, even to my 3-year-old, I have to constantly explain, like, I'm the parent, you're the child.
Yes.
Look, and sometimes I don't even know who the pep talk's for. I have to give myself constant pep talks, like, you're the you're the parent, you're in charge, go and take it back, go and take the charge back. Like, so I think, you know, it doesn't matter what age they are, you still have to give yourself that as the parent, don't you? Like,
totally. Hey, have you, I suppose, wasn't going to ask this question, but it just occurred to me, like, once you had honour, did your perspective as a teacher change in any way?
I didn't a little bit. Like, I remember pre-honor, pre-child, sitting in meetings, and I remember parents, especially I used to, you know, be a coordinator, and so obviously sometimes your dealings with parents were, you know, for a negative reason, and you'd be sitting there talking to them, and they would turn over to you and say, well, do you have a child? Are you a parent? And you always, you know, had that bit of guilt, like, no, I'm not. So, you know, but I am a teacher and I have studied education and I have seen a lot of students. So, you know, give me some credit. But yes and no, I had more of respect in terms of I could see the passion that parents would come to schools with. So I probably had a little bit more understanding of that and understood that it came from, ultimately it comes from love. So even when they were sheer desperate, or they were not listening, or they were fired up, it ultimately came for love for their child. Which is something I don't think you can obviously experience until you are a parent. That, you know, you would just fight to the end of the earth for them. So I think I had some appreciation for that. And so maybe I was probably, I don't know, I thought, or gave them a little bit more of a time of day in terms of, you know, I'll just give them some space to calm down, or, you know, approach conversations slightly differently. So I did understand that. But I actually thought my perspective would change a lot more than it did. Which I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, really.
No, I suppose I asked the question because I know my perspective on teaching definitely changed having Kobe. And that's why I had a bit of a chuckle when you said that about people asking you, well, do you have children? Because I don't know, now I sit back and think, oh, they're doing such a better job than I am raising my child.
I think that,
but no, look,
I actually loved, and
that's me being silly, but yeah, I suppose before having Kobe, I had friends that were teachers, so I knew that for some teachers it was a genuine passion for wanting to see children be educated and, you know, be able to be given those opportunities in life. And so I knew that there were teachers out there doing it for the right reasons, but then I also knew some teachers that were doing it just because they wanted school holidays off, this sort of stuff. And so I didn't really give much thought to the amount of work that teachers do. And oh my goodness, when Kobe, I mean, look, he went to kinder and childcare and I could see how hard they were working, but when he started school and I could just see the work being poured into him, it just blew my mind. And I just feel like I can never thank Kobe's teachers enough. Like I'm just always thanking them because I don't know, there's just so much work that goes into it, you know. They're there so early in the morning and then they're there late at night. And Kobe's had some teachers that have just been like, look, he's a little bit behind in this. How about I stay back after school every Wednesday and work with him for an hour? And I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, that's amazing. But it's because they genuinely want
I think you're right.
The kids progress, you know?
Yeah. And you do have such special relationships with the kids. Like it's like nothing else. Someone said to me, Honor has been in daycare for quite a while. I went back to full-time work when she was probably about 10 months old.
Yeah.
So quite early on in her life. And someone said to me, oh, like, how do you do it? How do you drop her at daycare? And I said, well, I place the same. I know that they're going to provide her with genuine love and care and do anything to protect her, because as a teacher, that's actually what I would do. Like I would die for any one of my students. Like, you actually do care for them that much. Like, and that's, I think, hard for people to believe as well. So I was like, so I just think about that when I drop Honor off, that I know that they actually love and care for her. And you're right. Like you would do anything. You want them to be good people. Like one of the reasons I love teaching and is because I do genuinely care for them, but I just want them to be good people in the world. I want them to make a difference in the world. Like I don't necessarily want to make the difference. I feel like I've left my run a bit late to make a difference in the world.
Oh, no way. You're making a difference. You're a teacher.
I know, but I just hope, you know, that they'll go out and make a difference. Like, you know, one of them, you know, maybe will cure cancer or, you know, go and work at the UN or, I don't know, be the next prime minister. Like that's what, you know, that's what you teach.
That's really cool.
Give them the skills to go and make a big difference in the world and change all the things that are wrong with it. Because, you know, I just don't think, like, as I said, I think I've left my run too late. Maybe our generation can't quite get there yet to make, you know, that huge difference. But then the next one will. Like, it's got to be better.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. I mean, Kobe, even today, listening to him with his teacher and just the way she was addressing them, and it really made my heart melt, just reiterating to them just how proud she is of them. And, you know, and she even, because she knew that Kobe was going to a grammar school next year, and she even, like, as he answered a question today, she was like, oh yeah, because that school that you're going to, Kobe, they actually do this. So she's actually taking interest even in what they're doing next and where they're going, and she's remembering all this stuff. And I'm just sitting there listening to her thinking, gosh, you care about these kids so much, and not just them now, but their actual future. And I just love that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's really cool. So have you got any tips for busy working mums that
Oh
have
gosh.
worked for you?
I think it depends on the person, your your personality as well. I'm very much a do it now person. Like, do it now. Don't leave it because it won't get done, or it kind of plays on your mind as well, and you feel like you've never, I don't know, got that sense of achievement. I'm definitely write a list, do it now, get it done.
I love that.
Just anything that works. Like, I don't know, I think make your life easier. I put washing it at night, set the timer on the washing machine, it's ready in the morning.
Yes. Love it.
That's, put the slow cooker on, anything to make your life easier that you're not, that doesn't make the burden on top of you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't know. And it's so important to take time out for yourself, without a doubt. Like, and it's complete time out for yourself. It's something that you're either passionate about, you love, makes you a better person, or it's for your health and fitness.
Yeah.
That's what you have to take time out to do.
Yeah. Have there been any habits that you've built that have kind of, I suppose, contributed to your self-care?
Definitely physical exercise, without a doubt. That to me is a non-negotiable that I know I need. So I have to make time for it. I don't do anything else. I probably should. In terms of,
You seem
I
happy
feel
and
like,
healthy to me.
look, I'm not a person that needs that. I don't need.
Yeah.
I'm quite a strong character. I can talk myself around a lot of things.
That's good.
Which I know a lot of people can't do. But yeah, I don't know. I call it a pep talk. I just give myself a little pep talk and, recheck myself. I'm really lucky. Yeah, I am really lucky like that. Because I know that's just not how a lot of people can operate. And it does help me overcome, I guess, when I have those fears and things. Like, a lot of people kind of mistake, I guess, my personality, that I'm quite confident, but I'm actually not. I can kind of talk myself into situations so I appear more confident.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Is there anything, has there been anything that you think has shaped that in you? Or
No, I don't know if anything in particular has. I was quite a shy child, like really quite shy. I don't think I spoke to my kindergarten teacher for the entire year I was at kindergarten. But I just think I gradually grew out of that. I don't know, sometimes even now, I haven't lived in Melbourne for that long. And I remember going to start a new job, and even probably people at my workplace would say I'm probably quite quiet, and they probably don't know me overly well.
Yep.
I'm a little bit like that though. I feel like I'm a bit of a sitting duck sometimes. Like, I just watch and take it in, and it's not to mistake. And I don't know, I don't think I'm not confident, but I don't think I am confident.
You just do what you need to do.
Yeah, I do what I need to do. And
yeah,
I don't particularly like doing new things, but again, I always sort of, can self-talk myself into going to doing new things, trying new things, putting myself out there. The same with public speaking. I don't like it, but I don't not like it, but I'll do it.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, all those sort of things. I don't know. I think that's one good thing about my headspace, is I don't need a lot. I can manage myself quite well.
Yeah.
So I think that is one important thing. If you're not managing that, you need to find something that does work for you.
Yeah.
And it needs to be an importance, because like that saying, fit your own mask on in the airplane before you help others. But it's never been more true. So you're only going to be as good as mother as you feel at the end of the day. And
yep. I love that. Yeah, it's so true.
You really are. And I know that I'm a much better person when I'm taking care of myself as well. And I always think, if Honor came to me and she was this age, what advice would I give her? And I would give her the same advice, and so I do it for myself.
Yeah.
I'd tell her to look after herself, put herself first, make sure that she's coping and things like that. So that's something I always make sure I'm doing. That I'm doing what I would hand out.
A little bit harder for our generation in terms of, I hope that next generation, it'll be a lot easier because self-care will be a lot more acceptable. Whereas I feel like we were the first kind of generation to come in and practice self-care as mothers, because I know my mum didn't do anything like that. It was seen to be really, you don't look after yourself. Your family is your priority.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you do anything else, that's a treat. And then if you do have a treat, you tend to feel guilty. So I just remember my mum sacrificing so much for us, and I'm so eternally grateful. And she was a fantastic mum. But yeah, I think it's been really hard. I know if even my sister and I look at the way that we have been able to, I suppose, embrace self-care, and it's been really tough because we've grown up thinking that means you're a selfish person.
I think you just described my mum there. Absolutely. Even now, my brothers and I, like, you know, for Mother's Day, for her birthday, we buy her vouchers for the, you know, day spa and things like that. Yep. Last one, she let go. It was up, you know, 2 years, didn't use it. Because you're right, because it's like that guilt. And my mum is a very hardworking mother. She worked full-time our entire childhood as a night shift nurse.
Wow.
Full-time, still works full-time, night shift. She is so hardworking. She also cooked every single meal for us. I don't think we ever had takeaway, because again, that was seen as like a treat, and that she wasn't, you know, doing her job as a mother, not providing us with a home cooked meal. She sewed clothes, she gardened, she grew produce.
I know, I think back, my mum used to iron our underwear. Like
absolutely.
Oh no, you iron every single piece of clothing that comes out of the washing machine.
Exactly. Still irons tea towels. I was like, Mum, they dry the dishes. Like, yeah. Like my mum and dad still won't use the dishwasher because that's deemed, I don't know, some form of lazy. Whereas I'm like, if it helps you and it gets you through,
that's it.
That's what you do. Like that's. But you're right. I do think you're right. It is the first generation of complete self-care, and I think, that's quite difficult for people to understand as well.
Yeah, it'll be really good to see our kids, I suppose, come into this and be it a bit more normal for them, because they've seen us start to embrace it and understand how important it is that, if we don't fill up our own cups and let everything kind of spill out naturally, then we're going to tip over, because we're going to eventually empty out. So,
and just that you matter as a person, like you matter, like you don't stop mattering because you took on this role as a mother.
That's right.
Yeah, I remember someone said to me, I went on maternity leave and I went back to work, and then I actually resigned from that job, and I wanted a new job, but I just like, oh well, Honor was only like 9 months old, 10 months old. I thought, oh well, no rush, whatever, you know, I will go back to work and I want to work. And someone said to me, but you're a mother. And I was like, and I want to work. Like, I was just like, and that's just one of the roles I play. Like, I actually do, like, what I want still matters as a person. Like, I don't want to be just known as a mother. I feel like I'm more than that. Like,
for sure. I think that's probably one of the biggest issues we have, is that mums tend to feel like once they become mums, that has to become their entire role.
Yeah, and that's all that you're known as. Like, that's it. That sums you up. But
we've been trying to teach Kobe, and he's much better now, but a few years back, actually, he started to really refer to me just as mum, and couldn't get his head around the fact that he knew that I worked, but he also was like, but you're also responsible for everything else around the house because you're mum, like that's you.
Yeah.
And so it's been a lot of having to like actually get him thinking about the fact that I'm more than just a mum. I am his mum and I'll always be his mum. But aside from that, I'm also, you know, this and that. And so.
Oh, funny you say really that. Honor actually just called me the cleaner the other day. So I don't know if that's a side role or if that goes under the job description as mum.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? It depends, I suppose, as to, see, for me, I would put that under mum, but
Oh, well, you're the cleaner or something. I thought this is, I'm doing something wrong.
This is going a bit off topic, but I used to have to drop Kobe off to before school care in my old job and then go to work. And I always, he was just always running late, always. Getting him out the door was just always a nightmare. And one day I finally managed to get him in the car. We're driving down the street and I'm like, you need to understand that mum works and that I have a boss and that, you know, I'm expected to turn up at work on time, because then, and I was obviously being over dramatic, but I was like, because mummy could get fired if, she's late for work. And he's looking at me like, so go back and work at McDonald's. That's what you used to do. You'll be fine. Like, he was looking at me like, you're the mum. It'll work itself out. Like, don't worry about it. And it was just, I was like, yeah, you're not there yet, buddy.
I think it's nice though. I think because they see you kind of like the mum, the boss, that it's hard for them to understand as well that, like, actually, no, you're not the complete boss of society or your job either, that you actually have to fall in line with a lot of other things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, that was really cool. Thank you for joining us.
No, thank you for having me.
No problem.
Sure.